65-year-old Shoji Hiroyuki has a part of the day to which he always looks forward.
来たかな？来た来た来た来た来た。殿、お待ち申し上げておりました。いやー、アプリが反応が遅くてすまない。いえいえ、殿こそご無事で。
Shoji, who lives alone, is an avid user of a video chat service that connects Japanese seniors with international learners of the Japanese language. His partner today is Turkey-based Leha Auju. Inspired by a childhood love of anime, he's been studying Japanese for 11 years. His current fascination is Japan's late medieval Warring States period.
今日はあれですね。旗が揺れてますね。
あ、そうですね。
真田家の。はい。
風が少々あって。
ああ、バッチリですね。
In his youth, Shoji's interest in other cultures even saw him attend university in the UK. But ever since then, he has enjoyed only limited opportunities to meet people from outside Japan. That changed a year ago when he found this service, making conversations with people from around the world a part of his daily routine.
Normally, it's hard to make friends from overseas. But this service lets you go beyond mere introductions and do just that. That's the most fun part.
The city of Kashiwa, Chiba Prefecture. The chat service is run from this shared co-working space. Led by CEO and founder Goto Manabu.
I would feel a bit pretentious if I was dressed up in a proper suit. We're not that kind of business, so I think a casual vibe suits us better.
With many of the firm's 20 or so staff based in different regions of Japan, most day-to-day meetings are conducted online. Their service caters to a core demographic combining Japanese seniors and overseas-based language learners.
Konnichiwa.
Once matched with a conversational partner, each session lasts 25 minutes.
Indonesiaから来ました。よろしくお願いいたします。
はい、よろしくお願いします。
Of the 9,000 or so registered Japanese users, some 70% are over 65, and these retirees provide their time for free. They are joined by some 20,000 language learners in 158 countries and regions worldwide, who pay up to around $10 a month for unlimited access. And for such overseas users, it's the perfect platform to practice Japanese.
そうですね。しかし私はさっき7時にもう朝ごはんを食べました。
あ、そうなんだ。
こんばんは。こんばんは。よろしくお願いします。今日よろしくお願いします。
In 3 years of using the service, Tanaka Masako has enjoyed conversations with over 200 fellow users. Today's counterpart is Taiwan-based Lo Miaoju, a weekly conversational partner for Tanaka.
今日は私ちょっと2つアホことをした。どんなこと？家帰る途中はそのサバのお弁当を買いたいです。でも注文した途端は私の好 財布を持ってんのを忘れました。
Lo began studying Japanese after a trip to the country 10 years ago. And since meeting Tanaka via the chat service, her interest in Japanese culture has grown even stronger.
Every time we talk, she teaches me so much about Japanese culture. And I think that, if possible, after I retire, I'd like to live in Japan, even if only for a little while. And learn Kamakura bori carving and traditional urushi lacquerwork.
Through 45 years of marriage, Tanaka and her husband raised 2 sons.
見て家族がみんないなくなった私たち2人家族になってからも一応豆まきとかねお庭外深打ちそれで鬼になったところ私が撮った写真なんですよ。
But 13 years ago, husband Ryoji was diagnosed with untreatable late-stage cancer. He passed away at home 6 months later. And ever since, Masako has lived alone. With no supermarket or other shops nearby, she gets most of her daily essentials delivered. Against the backdrop of an aging society, the number of elderly Japanese who live alone has doubled in the last 20 years. And with opportunities for outside social interaction further hampered by the ongoing pandemic, many seniors are finding themselves increasingly isolated.
My friends and I feel the social pressure. They used to drop by when they were out for a walk, and I'd walk back with them afterwards. That doesn't happen anymore. It does make me feel lonely sometimes. Yes, it does.
But now, thanks to the online chat service, she has lots of people to talk to in the form of users overseas.
台湾でお友達ができたから台湾くらいだったらば行かれるかななんてね最近なんかちょっと希望というか夢が出てきましたけど
できます。
できます。
絶対できます。でも今毎日運動してください。
そうです。体力つけてね。はい。そうです。そして私も毎日朝散歩。うん。朝散歩の後老人体操もやってますから。はい、老人体操。
When I'm talking to people from Taiwan and they tell me where they live, these give me a sense of whereabouts that is.
And besides Taiwan, Tanaka's interest in the backgrounds of other users extends to in-depth research of their countries too.
Speaking to people from countries you have no ties to, and getting to know them, you see the good in each other and develop an affinity. And you start to look out for what's going on in their country. I think those kinds of connections are very important, and they make me happy.
Using the service has also prompted Tanaka to take on new challenges. Like this computer course. Today, she's learning how to make a calendar.
I want to make something that I can send to my grandchildren or to other friends as a year-end gift. That's my goal.
In all, the chat service has had a transformative impact on Tanaka's everyday life.
For me, it's like enjoyment and learning all mixed together. And it's made me want to learn new things and try taking on new challenges.
And with reluctance to go out due to the pandemic adversely impacting the health of many seniors, some local governments like Fujisawa Kanagawa Prefecture have introduced Goto's service as a countermeasure. Here, they've been promoting the service for the last 2 years via tools such as local newsletters. The initiative has been led by local civil servant Ishida Daisuke.
A big topic these days is social frailty, in which seniors may be physically healthy and mentally alert, but they lack social connections. That can have significant negative impacts on health, or rather mental health. And it's scientifically proven how feeling useful or connected to others are key drivers of the motivation to live an active life. So through this initiative, we're trying to provide those things to local seniors.
Ishida is joined by representatives of Goto's firm for an event at this local community centre. The limited numbers gathering is a meet and greet for local users of the chat service. All those assembled have been enjoying the opportunity for online cultural exchange with learners overseas.
セールを始めて、来月9月でですね、約1年になりますので、今、1400回まで行ったので、目標2000回で頑張ってます。昨日8件もやっちゃいましたね。1日4時間もやってました。
私は1日1人でもう
And attendees soon get down to discussing their experiences of the service.
その国の人の挨拶を最初に調べておくんですね。こんにちはとありがとうとさようなら。こんだけ覚えておけば、最初とね最後に使えるのかなと思って。
つかみをね取るにはね、距離が縮まりますよね。
And through events like this, the chat service is building real-world connections as well as virtual ones.
肌の温かさというかね、そういうのがあって非常に。
頑張ってこの機会があると本当嬉しいですね。
おせんべい食べながら喋ります。
Before founding this company, CEO Goto Manabu had taken up a graduate position with a major IT firm, but he left after only a year to focus on his own business plan at this local co-working space.
Here's where I used to sit before starting the business. Right here. I'd quit my job after only a year and had no business model, no clue. I'd sit here with all these books, just chewing my pencil. Every day was like that. Here's where it all started. Here's my mom and I.
Goto was raised by his single mother, Sakura.
My mom's a pretty unusual person. Like a female version of the Joker. She's pretty full on. I suppose all photographers are weird. In her early 20s, she went to the US alone to photograph circus performers. Thinking back, that was pretty proactive of her.
And because his mother's work as a photographer frequently took her overseas, Goto was left in the care of his grandparents.
I did feel lonely back then. My dad wasn't around, and my mom was working overseas. And being different to all my friends did give me kind of an inferiority complex.
As a college student, he followed in his mother's footsteps by studying overseas. And after graduation, he followed this up with a one-year backpacking tour of some 30 countries around the world.
Meeting all these people from different backgrounds and realizing how much we had in common was really quite a liberating experience for me.
One particularly impactful encounter came while studying in the US.
In America, I was interested in the civil rights movement, Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, and so on. And I met this white woman in her 80s who'd lived through all that in the American South. Hearing the history through her eyes, about how her own perception changed, and learning about that past through the filter of her life, made me feel almost like I'd been there myself. And that was a very meaningful and profound experience.
And it was that realization of how much there was to learn from the rich experience of the older generation that gave Goto the inspiration for his present service. But not all overseas users treat language learning and cultural exchange as a hobby. These young people in Myanmar are studying with the aim of finding work in Japan. Instructor Tan To Ang has been using the online chat service for a year.
I think meeting and talking with Japanese people is a great way to learn. I write down things I'm not sure about, and I often ask them for clarification. I've learned a lot that way.
And Tan To Ang is another regular conversational partner of Shoji Hiroyuki.
いつもの顔でいいんだよ。かっこつけなくて。ちょれちょれ。いつも通りだよ。いつも通りだよ。ちょれ。みんな元気?
In fact, Tan To Ang has been using the service to enlist Shoji's help with teaching his students. Shoji has been helping them prepare for the Japanese language proficiency test, which will have a big influence on their chances of finding work in Japan.
シミわかる？黒くなる。ちょっと待って、書くよ、書く。はい。そうそうそう、ほくろじゃない。うん、シミ。このね、黒いのがシミができる。わかった？
Shoji has been giving them 50 minutes of instruction every day for the past 4 months.
We're not Japanese, so there's a lot we don't understand. Pronunciation and so on. Shoji-san is very kind, and he teaches us all sorts of things. It's been a big help to the students. And their Japanese is really improving. They're all working so hard under difficult circumstances to come and work in Japan. When I see that, I want to help them out. That's how I feel. But it's not just about me teaching them. How can I put it? They've inspired me to make an effort in the same way as they're doing.
Another of Shoji's regular chat partners is Chan Chia-Xuan. A pharmacist at a hospital in Taipei, she too dreams of working in Japan.
Dietary supplements and so on that are developed in Japan have found a big fan base in Taiwan. So I think it would be really great if I was able to experience working in pharmaceuticals in Japan. I think that would be fantastic.
And recently, Goto has launched a new service aimed at helping such overseas learners find work in Japan. The initiative aims to connect Japanese learners with domestic firms searching for overseas talent.
SAIL で会話を重ねた世界の人たちが日本で有名な会のを手助けする活動、それがSewa-katsuであるという意味で。
Designed to provide full support around visas and accommodation as well as work placements, the service takes its name from the Japanese word sewa, which here means look after.
Until now, we'd focused on exchange. But more and more overseas users told us that in the future they'd like to work in Japan. We started to think that we'd like to create a service to help them do that. And we realized that offering a recruitment support service was the most obvious way. So that's what we decided to start with.
And the new service has already begun to connect Japanese companies with overseas learners. Taiwan-based pharmacist Chang has already secured interviews with 2 Japanese firms. And 2 days ahead of her first online interview, staff from Goto's service are helping her prepare.
そのミーティングルームに入ったら直接自己紹介する必要がありますか？ああ、なるほど。そうですね。オンライン面接だからそういうことも考えないといけません。そうですね。挨拶はした方が印象はとてもいいと思うので、その感じとてもいいと思います。
The day of the first interview arrives. It's with a pharmaceutical ingredient manufacturer.
今までのこの24年間を自己採点を100点満点ですると何点ですか
？90点だと思います。
はい。
自分が 今後の道を迷わないようにいつも自分を見つめ直してその目標を設定するのが私の習慣です。
Thanks to the advanced preparation, Chang makes it through the 1-hour interview.
本日はお時間いただきありがとうございました。はい、
こちらこそありがとうございました。
And a month after her second interview, she receives some welcome news.
レンさんを合格内定したいと思いますという連絡でした。おめでとうございます。おめでとうございます。
She is set to receive a concrete job offer from one of the companies.
やったーって。
It marks the scheme's first successful placement. And Chan soon takes to the chat service to share the good news.
ご報告があります。
はいはい。何でしょうか。
With none other than Shoji Hiroyuki.
その企業に内定をもらいました。
コングラチュレーション。おめでとうね。
ありがとうございます。
はいはい。
He really gave his all to help me when I asked for advice about the interviews. But he said, "You'll be absolutely fine." He's such a warm person.
And by facilitating communication between users in Japan and overseas, Goto Manabu's service is continuing to connect the world through Japanese.
It's about humanity. To us, that's the basis of communication. And within that, there is great value, yet more humanity, warmth, and consideration. There are difficulties too. But ultimately, I'm someone who was helped by such exchanges. And we aim to help more and more people. To me, that's our job.